What is going on, New York Giants fans? Hit Squad back at it with another segment for the Big Blue Topic, episode 4. As always, we got my man, the Big Blue Corner to the right of me, and we got our dog, Giant Opinion Sports below. How y'all boys doing? It's been a little bit. How y'all doing?
Doing excellent, man. Doing excellent. Can't complain, man. Can't complain. Ready to get into it, man.
Ready to
Facts,
beat up
bro.
on Carson Wentz a couple times a year. That's what I'm ready to do.
I'm definitely with you there, man. I'm glad to hear y'all doing good. We got some people in the chat. What's going on, Blue City Empire Sports? He says Carson Wentz just traded to Washington. Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. We're going to give our thoughts about Carson Wentz coming back to the NFC East. Mark the Blue Giant, what is up? Thank you for stopping by. D-Mac Warrior, thank you for stopping by. Joel, what is good? Great stream, man. I thought it was really awesome, and I like the points that y'all touched on. Apologize I came late, but nonetheless, great stream, brother. What's going on, Taj? Nice to see you, man. Let's get into this. We have obviously, you guys know there's been some news within the last 2 days going around in the NFL. You know that Aaron Rodgers is going back to Green Bay, Russell Wilson to Denver, and now we have Carson Wentz going back to the NFC East. So just to jump right into this, what are your thoughts on Russell Wilson going to Denver? I mean, do you like it? Do you dislike it? I mean, I thought that in a sense. I mean, obviously Denver wins that trade, but I think Seattle got fleeced. If I'm being real.
Man, I just don't understand how, and this is something that everybody was harping about early in the season, by mid-season, as far as, you know, the Giants trading for Russell Wilson, and you saw exactly what Denver had to give up just to get that guy. I mean, that's just ridiculous right there, man. Absolutely ridiculous what they got.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And it's at this point, I mean, you look at that division, quarterback wise. I mean, I think that's got to be the best division of football if we're just looking at the quarterback and the talent surrounding it.
Oh shoot, AFC West Side, yeah, definitely. I mean, who you got there? Russell Wilson now, uh,
Patrick
Justin Herbert,
Mahomes,
Patrick
Justin Herbert,
Mahomes.
and Derek Carr.
Yep.
Derek Carr is the worst quarter. He's the worst quarterback in the best division, and he's not even that bad of a quarterback if we're keeping it stacked. But what is going on, Mac? I appreciate you stopping by. Jonathan Studios, Jeff, appreciate you guys stopping by. But Giant Opinion Sports, what's your thought about the Russell Wilson trade, man?
I thought it was an absurd package they gave to Seattle. I got to be honest with you.
I'm there
I
with
know
you.
I'm the minority in
Man.
this. I just
No,
think
you're
it's
not. You're not.
way too much. If you want to give a couple firsts or something, that's fine. But to give away a top 10 tight end, I mean Drew Lock there pretty much moved on him from anyways. But just I don't see where the second or third round picks or whatever that was involved in it come into play for me. I think there's been a blueprint for the last couple of years of how to beat, how to attack Russell Wilson. And if you sit too high on him, if you can keep both your safeties back, now that's a big if. If the running game works, then Russ is going to cook. But if they can't, now it's going to be hard to build up around him. The division's stacked. I mean, it's just a bad spot to be in to begin with where Denver is. I view Russ right now as pretty much average. You could say he's in the prime of his career, but that finger injury was a bigger injury than people talk about. I get it. He came back super quick. It's just, I just have a question mark right now. Is Russ the same quarterback he was 3-4 years ago? I'm leaning towards no. And I'm thinking if you don't have an effective run game, he's been very much neutralized. And you talk about the bad offensive line in Seattle, but a lot of them sacks were on Russell too, buying time, holding on the ball too long. And he was part of the problem as well. So
Hey,
people are
I
going to come
mean,
back with, oh, he's a Hall of Fame quarterback and all this. I just don't think he's the same guy. And if they don't have a running attack there that's very, very, very effective, I don't think he's a top 5, possibly even 10 quarterback anymore.
I will say this much. Denver had a pretty solid running game last year. I think Melvin Ingram's going to test free agency. I think it's Melvin Gordon. I apologize. He's going to test free agency. But they had a pretty solid running game. Now, I will say that he's going to be going into a situation where he'll have a better offensive line and an offensive-minded coach compared to what he had over there in Seattle. Um, I would disagree with him being average. I understand where you're coming from. I do think that that finger injury was worse than what people made it out to be, and it showed. I think that last year he had a, if not an average or below average year for me than what I would expect from Russell Wilson. I don't think he's on a decline, but it just wasn't working out for Seattle. And if you're the Denver Broncos, I mean, I think within the next year, 2 years, you got to hope that Russell Wilson can lead you to a Super Bowl. Because if not, I think a lot of people are going to get fired.
It's going to be
Oh,
failed.
go
But
ahead,
congrats to
Jazz.
Seattle though for actually doing this. Look what the Giants did with Eli for years. We sat on Eli when we really need to start rebuilding. Congrats for Seattle to actually recognizing their situation and making the proper moves.
Yeah, definitely. And it's very interesting because I know a lot of people say that Pete Carroll doesn't come across as the kind of coach that would look to rebuild. Um, I don't think that Drew Lock is going to be the quarterback that they roll with. If I'm being honest, I think that they could still even get whether that's a Jimmy Garoppolo or a Jameis Winston if that's possible. But I just don't see them rolling with Drew Lock going into the starting season. Or they could even draft a quarterback, which that leads me to my next question. I mean, if you're the New York Giants and you're looking to trade back from 5, I mean, to me, I mean that number 9 selection. I mean, I believe it's 9 that Denver had initially, but it's regardless, it's a top 10 pick. I mean, are you looking to trade back there? Because if not, I mean, I think that's a pretty comfortable spot to move back to as opposed to the lower teams.
Well, I mean, in my opinion, you got to look at it like this. Based off of the fact of what you know Green Bay did as far as bringing back uh, Aaron Rodgers for an obscene amount of money. We can talk about that later on, but it's basically showing what this quarterback class is. We talked about this before, where it's a very weak class, and you have all these teams jockeying and maneuvering for all these these backup QBs, these veteran QBs that's out there that's going to be hitting the free agent market at some point. At some point, these teams are recognizing that what, we're going to have to throw the farm at some of these guys just to be able to get them, because maybe in some aspect or the other, they're not sold on these QBs. But you're going to have some of these teams that's willing to jump up to go get them. I wouldn't be surprised if Seattle does it. They pull the trigger if they feel that maybe Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, you know, what's the other guy there? Desmond Ritter. Any one of these guys there, if they're sold on them, Matt Corral as well. If they're sold that, what, maybe this is the quarterback that we need, I wouldn't be surprised of them jumping up. But based on how weak this QB class is, I can see where some of these guys, some of these teams just sit where they are. They're not going to rush anything and let the draft come to them. And if those guys fall to them at their position, they'll take them right then and there.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I think that it definitely does speak to how bad this QB class is. Um, I mean, I saw a mock recently where Malik Willis was drafted to the Texans. I don't think the Texans even select a quarterback that high, and I don't know at this point if there's a QB that may go top 8, maybe top 10. I mean, maybe the Panthers, but I mean, if they go and get themselves a Kirk Cousins, I mean, they're not going to go and select a quarterback in the draft. They may select, offensive lineman to help protect Kirk Cousins at that point. But I mean, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you. But I do know that this quarterback class is weak. It's weaker than a lot of people are making it to be.
I mean,
I
what can we
think
say?
Washington and Seattle have kind of spoken. They went out
Yeah,
and
I mean,
found,
that's a good
and it's
point.
reported with Denver, they were not going to do that deal without Drew Lock. And I've also read stuff that that's their plan to roll with Drew Lock. I don't see either one of them teams setting up. Listen, we're talking about number 9, Washington, right? Number 11, Seattle. They could have
What's up,
easily
man?
moved
What's
up.
up?
They went the route of going out and grabbing a quarterback on the market. So I don't see them moving up at all. Maybe they like a guy. Obviously, they don't love a guy because they're looking for other quarterbacks. Maybe they like one of them, and like Big Blue Corner said, they're just going to sit there. If it falls to them, they falls to them. If not, they not. And I agree
I
with that
agree.
kind of attitude.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you're right, man. I mean, at this point, I don't. I think the first quarterback to get taken off the board, if there would be, within the top 6 or 7, it would be at Carolina. And that's it. Like I said, and that's if they don't make a move to go get a Kirk Cousins or a Jimmy Garoppolo. Um, I just at this point, man. I mean, I think that these teams, like you said, Giant Opinion Sports, they're really showing how they feel. I mean, if we're being real, I mean, none of these quarterbacks are worth getting taken. If I got a top 10 pick, I'm not looking to take any of these quarterbacks. If I'm being honest with you, even if I needed a quarterback, I'm not looking to take these quarterbacks. I mean, I think Malik Willis. I know we all have our opinions on Malik Willis. I like what I see, but I can't justify taking him within the top 10. That's just me though. Um, so I mean, I would hate to be a. This might sound a little out there, but I would hate to be a team that needs a quarterback right now. And
Yeah.
I'm talking like we need a quarterback. I know people are saying that the Giants need a quarterback, but in my honest opinion, I think that Daniel Jones is a better option than any of these quarterbacks that are in this draft.
Yeah, that's
So
true. That's
If
true,
Drew
man.
Lock was coming out this year, where does he stack? Like we talked about before, where does Drew Lock, if where he came out, he went in the second round. If he's in this quarterback class, where does he stack up if he came out this year?
I might have to change that up because based on these quarterbacks right now, honestly, Drew Lock might be the number one quarterback. Just
That's what I'm
thinking off
saying.
my head, he
yeah,
might be the number one quarterback based off of what we've seen with these quarterbacks in this draft.
yeah, you're not, and I don't think that's even crazy to say if I'm being real. I mean, and it's like again, it just speaks to the talent at the quarterback position for this year's draft. It's not a good year to be needing a quarterback in the 2022 NFL draft, man. I mean, it's just not. I mean, there's some players that have some upside, but are you really looking to put a first round pick on one of those players? Because I personally wouldn't. I really wouldn't, and I don't blame any of these teams that don't want to trade up for a QB. I know that 5 is a high pick, or 4, if you're a team like the Jets, but I just don't see a team trading up for any of these QBs because they know that these QBs are going to fall.
Well, I'm hoping that they hype up, these QBs enough to where
Oh, they're going to
one of these
try.
teams. I want that to happen. Hype up Malik Willis, Corral, Pickett, hype them up. Because you know
Yeah.
what? I want to be able to trade back at least one of these picks to get some more picks. I want to be able to do that if
Well,
it's even at all possible.
no,
Everyone's going to be looking to trade back
I
though
hear
this
you.
year.
Yeah.
Who's trading up?
You're right. I mean, and that's the thing. I don't know what team would really want to trade up for any of these quarterbacks. I'm just being honest. I think even a team like Pittsburgh may feel that they can wait where they're at and one of these QBs may fall. Or they may not have to trade up as far as a lot of people think, where, instead of going from where they're at now, they could go up to the early teens, maybe even number 10, and they could select the quarterback there and not give up as much as they would if they jump to 5 or if they jump to, 7. Um, but that's just how I feel, man. I mean,
Well,
it's just
also, can we touch
I
on
don't think it's worth it.
how this quarterback class could bring some higher prices for some of these free agents quarterbacks coming out here?
Oh, absolutely. But before we do that, I just want to say, what is up, Pat? What's up, Wales? Appreciate you guys stopping by, man. Thank you so much. We got we got some people here, so I appreciate it, man. But yes, we could definitely get into that. I definitely want to hear what you have to say, man, because I think you are absolutely right. I'm gonna just say, y'all, if y'all don't know, y'all gonna know. Excuse me, y'all gonna know now. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Let me repeat that. Yesterday's price is not today's price. The money just went up for these quarterbacks like Mitchell Trubisky, Jameis Winston, Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm just putting it out there right now. Again, yesterday's price is not today's price. But take the
I
floor,
agree with
man.
you. I agree with you 100% there, man. No doubt about it.
Someone is gonna throw a bag at one of these quarterbacks.
Shoot, look at Marcus Mariota. He's out there. He's probably considered probably the best free agent quarterback right now outside of Jameis Winston, depending on his injury. But Marcus Mariota is pretty much the best. Can you imagine what he is going to get? Even no, I'll take it back. I'm sorry, he's probably second best. If Jimmy G decides to go and uh go on, try out the free agent market and see what he can get, that's a possibility too, right there. Look what he did in
Well,
San
he's getting
Fran.
traded, right?
I believe so.
Uh,
But there's
I,
rumors that he may not.
I would if I'm San Fran, if I'm the GM, I'm keeping Jimmy Garoppolo there. And the only reason why is because Trey Lance, in my opinion, is not ready to go in.
I mean, I think you have to play him though. I mean, you traded way too much to move up to select your QB. I think that he has to play, man. I mean, at that point, and you're already announcing that there's been the goodbyes. We're gonna make sure that he goes to a good destination. I mean,
Right.
you can't take those kind of words back at this point. I just
Right.
feel that you got to get the kid some experience. I mean, in the some of the games that he played last year, whether it was for a drive or for a couple plays, I mean, he looked pretty solid. But if they feel that he's not ready, I don't know at this point if they would even keep Jimmy G. I don't know if that would be the thing to do. But
There's a
some
lot
teams
of
gonna get Jimmy
teams
G.
in the NFC that need quarterbacks right now. The NFC is so weak quarterback wise.
Yeah, and I definitely want to say when you look at the quarterbacks in the AFC compared to the NFC, it's ridiculous. I am honestly, as a fan of the New York Giants, I'm glad to be in the NFC. We don't got to deal with Patrick Mahomes, Herbert, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe. Like, Jesus Christ, man, Joe Burrow. Like, that's a stacked division. Like, are you kidding me?
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta look at it like this from this point. These quarterbacks, I mean, you got Justin Herbert out there, Patrick Mahomes, like you said, Russell Wilson. I mean, the list goes on as far as, you know, what's going to happen as far as where the shift is going right now. The NFC, I mean, they're losing a lot and they're also gaining a little. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I wouldn't even call it a little because Carson Wentz just jumped from Indy to Washington. And again, I don't even know what the hell Washington was thinking. All you had to do was look at Wentz's play this past year. You really gave up 2/3 for this guy? Just unbelievable. But Jonathan Studio says something, very important here. I don't know if you can highlight him at 550. He said 22 million jump in salary cap clearly is a windfall for the free agent quarterback class. That's I agree with that 100%. These guys are going to get the bag thrown at them.
Yep,
Well,
absolutely.
if you look at players like Nick Foles in the past and them high caliber borderline starters, they've gotten right around that 12, $15 million range. Some of them even
Very
ticked
true.
up a little bit higher, up into that 18, 20 million range. Now, I don't think any of these guys will get that. But if you think 15 million is out of the question for some of these guys on a 1 year prove it deal for a team that has no quarterback and their fan base needs some kind of glimmer of hope, I
Yeah.
don't think it's out of question to throw 13 to 15 million at one of these guys, Trubisky or Mariota, and give it a whirl.
And
Winston, I got a feeling he's going to go back to New Orleans. Like,
I'm
I
not
just
gonna
feel like
lie.
they
I
have a
think I think
relationship
Jimmy
there.
G may go to New Orleans. I'm gonna be real with you.
I have like a Pittsburgh feeling. I don't
I
know
could
why,
see
but I have
that.
like,
I could see that.
For Jimmy
or even the
G, yeah,
Colts,
Pittsburgh.
maybe in the Colts now.
Uh,
No, I'm not gonna
you're
lie.
right
I
about
got
that.
I got Trubisky going to the Colts. I think the Colts at this point they're going to be looking for a quarterback that they can rely on. And I'm gonna
Yep.
just throw this stat out there. I mean, a lot of people ain't gonna like it. As a fan of him, I'm not gonna like this either. But dude got more wins than Daniel Jones does. I'm just saying at this
Well, it's a
point.
much better
Uh,
team, but yeah, I get why that would aggravate
yeah.
somebody.
I mean, they had a solid defense, but I mean,
But
yeah,
he couldn't do anything.
that's what I'm
He couldn't do
saying.
anything. It's like you had what Chicago had the best defense for what 3 years straight. You went. What I think they went to the Super Bowl. I mean, come on now. I gotta disagree with you on that one. There, his squad.
I'm just
Granted, yeah, he
saying,
may have
man.
more wins than Daniel Jones at this point, but if he goes to a big market, that media they're gonna kill that kid, and he already
Yeah.
showed that he doesn't have the backbone for it. So he needs
If
to
they
go
don't
to a
win,
small market team. Yeah, exactly. He needs to go to a small market team.
So then the
Somewhere where they're
Colts
not
make
gonna.
sense then. I mean, that's a relative. I'm not gonna say a small market because I think that Indianapolis has a pretty big market, but I mean, I think at least compared to going a team like New Orleans where their fans, man, if they don't like you, they're gonna eat you alive.
Boo you out the stadium.
That's what I'm saying.
media is
So a
night and
team
day,
like the
though.
Colts might be the best fit for him at this
I
point.
think
I think
so.
Jimmy G would do solid over there, but again, I don't know. I could see Jimmy G going to the Saints at some point if San Francisco were to get rid of him. But now that you mentioned Pittsburgh, I think that would be pretty cool. Honestly, that actually might be a best case scenario for Pittsburgh if we're being real,
Yeah, because
because
right
they're
now
a
they
quarterback
really don't
away.
have any. They, I'm, well, yeah, they're about a quarterback away, but they're the two guys that they have now, Haskins and was it Mason Rudolph? Yeah,
Yeah,
they
Mason
might be
Rudolph.
throwing
Yeah,
a they might be throwing a bag to somebody as well, man. Because if they're not looking to get a quarterback in this draft, where I can honestly see if Pittsburgh went that way as far as this draft and go to get a quarterback, the one person that I can see fitting their scheme and their organization is Kenny Pickett. He's the only one that I see
I could
that
see
fits
that.
that.
I could see that. I mean, he's also played in that weather as well,
Exactly.
so I mean, it would be really good as well. Oh,
But
I,
I'm
I,
sure.
I
I'm sure Pittsburgh's sitting there and they want a quarterback. I'm sure they don't really care which one of the. I view these as all pretty much the same level. I mean,
yeah,
maybe I have a little bit better grade on Corral than the rest, but I mean, his size really worries you. Like, can he actually withstand the getting beat up? But
yeah,
yeah, if you're
and in that
Pittsburgh, you're in a good
Pittsburgh weather
spot.
as well. I mean,
You're in a
he's
good
used to
spot.
that weather spot as well.
Yep.
So I mean, I know a lot of people worry about his hand size, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, I know his hands are small, but I don't think it's that as big of a deal as the NFL and the media were making it out to be. Um, I have a feeling though that they're going to go the veteran route. I don't see them, going the rookie route. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but I could see them going the veteran route. I mean, you mentioned Jimmy G, and it's just I might be leaning towards that instead of him going to the Saints. Give me some
Think of how
time. I'm
these
gonna think about
it
that.
squad. Think of how these veteran quarterbacks are being traded the last few years. Like, think of the route the NFL is going now. The way these veteran quarterbacks are being traded, it's crazy. You don't have to rely on being bad anymore and having to fall down to
It's
get a
very true.
quarterback.
Very true.
The times have changed. You build your team. Look what case in point, the Rams. They just built their team. The quarterback didn't work
right,
out. One trade, Stafford, bang. They're Super Bowl winners every year, just
Yep.
about. So
It's a
well
there's two
copycat
different ways
league.
to go now.
they
It's a
bought their
copycat
team
league.
really, GOS. They bought the team really. I mean,
You got a point there, man. You got a point there. I'll give you that much.
and you could probably say the same thing right now where Denver is concerned. They were, as you can say, a quarterback away, and they gave up, like I said, the farm and a king's ransom just to get that guy. So, I
And,
mean,
and when you still think about it, they still got weapons on the offensive side of the ball, and they still got a very young and stout defense. So
yep.
I mean, he's going into a really good situation. I mean, I gotta highlight this comment because I 100% agree with you, Mark. Washington fans got to be punching the air right now. I mean, they went from, possibly, getting Deshaun Watson, possibly getting Russell Wilson, to now Carson Wentz, who, I mean, Jesus Christ, man. I mean, when he's great, but how many times can we say that? I mean, it's very far, and very rare that we could say that with the kid, if I'm being honest with you. I
Yeah,
mean, I
you're
was just
right.
gonna say, I mean, we killed Daniel Jones about not being able to slide and not knowing when to go down and to stop playing superhero ball. But this guy is like the definition of that. Like I mean, I admire it, that a quarterback's willing to put his life on the line to make sure that, we see another down potentially, make sure that we could score a touchdown. But Jesus Christ, you see some of the hits this guy takes and he's still trying to make a play. It's just like, dude, get on the fucking ground. Like throw the throw the ball away. Like, what are you doing? Like,
His
I mean,
mechanics
if
have
I'm
gone
a
to shit too. Have you noticed
that
that? Like every year,
I
his
have.
mechanics get worse.
It's embarrassing. If I'm a Colts fan, like it's a heart attack every single game because you got to be holding your breath with this guy.
Hey, the guy's trash. I never liked Carson Wentz. I think he's a horrible core QB. Horrible. But I will say this. I will say this. He is the best con man I have seen in the NFL because this guy has fleeced not one, not two, but he's about to fleece three teams for that amount of money. I mean, come on now. He's probably the best con man I've seen in a very long time. To sit
Seven
there
and two
and
against the
do that.
Giants,
Yeah,
though. 7-2. That's what Washington fans are holding on to. 7-2 versus the Giants. That's their thing at
Well,
this point.
well, they
man.
need to watch those games. They need to watch the games that we watched and saw just the horrible mistakes that he was making when the game really mattered. He did not step up one bit. He just made things absolutely worse.
No Evan
Overthrowing
Ingram.
receivers.
It's very true. Very true.
There's no way they're going to drop the game winner now. What's he going to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, just horrible, throwing just horrible picks, man. The guy's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you 100%, man. I mean, for me, man, I mean, like I said, you got to be punching the air. I mean, they couldn't even land Jimmy G. And I think at this point, even if I was a free agent, I'm not looking to go to Washington. Not because of the talent that they have there. They got some talented players, but I'm not trying to be under that ownership, the reputation that that organization has, and things that it comes with. For me personally, I'm good. And I know that I believe that they offered a really really good deal to Seattle for Russell Wilson, and they declined it, and they sent him to Denver. So I mean it's sad, but I'm not worried at all, if I'm being honest. I'm
This
not
is the
worried at
second
all about
team
Carson Wentz
hit
being back.
squad where he's had problems with the front office, with the owner, with players
Yep.
in the locker room. It's just been unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, and again, if you're a fan of the Colts, and you're watching them play on Sundays, I mean, you got to be happy that this guy's gone. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just being real. They don't have a quarterback right now, but I mean, you got to be glad that this guy is gone. And I mean, granted, Washington didn't give up too much to get him, but still, I
But
I don't even
basically,
think and they got to take on the entirety of that contract too.
It's all no. They can release him anytime. It's all dead. All the guaranteed's gone off the top from the trade, so
Fleeced,
they can
man.
get out from underneath that contract anytime they want. There's no dead money if they cut him.
told
I
you, man. The
can't.
guy's a con good. He's a con man. Okay, he is a con man. Who can con three teams out of all that money and put up a poor performance? Anybody? It's Carson Wentz, man.
Yeah, and it's sad because you
Well,
look at
let's
what
not pretend
Philly
he's not
traded up to
talented.
get. I mean, he's
Let's not
talented.
let's
He's
not pretend
talented.
it. It's just you got to live with the stinkers and hope it's not big games. You get the stinker, and
I don't know. Talent wise, maybe. But I saw some passes that he made. I can't remember what game it was. Dude, what were you thinking? Throwing the ball, it's like he was trying to do a sidearm behind the back pass. He was trying to be like Patrick Mahomes and threw a complete dud and was picked off. Dude,
There's
he's
there's a play against the
horrible.
Rams where I believe he sprains both of his ankles trying to make a play. How do you do that? Like, I mean, to sprain one ankle is something, but to sprain both of them, like Jesus Christ, man. Again, I mean, that's Washington's problem. If you want to say that's an upgrade, I mean, yeah, it is in a sense because again, he is a talented player. I'm not gonna, shit on him and say that he isn't. He is a talented player, but you got to live with the heartaches and the headaches that he also comes with as well. And a lot of that also plays into, he is relatively injury prone.
he's
I'm just gonna
also had
say
a
that
Those
top five
points.
O line his whole career.
it's very true. I mean, you went from the Eagles O line to now going to the Colts O line, two solid offensive lines, and then now you go into the Washington O line, who's not even that bad, if I'm being honest with you. I don't think that they have a
No,
bad O line.
no,
So
it's about average. I think they're decent.
yeah, so he's going into a pretty decent situation, but again, even with that, I'm not expecting much from him. Excuse me. Now Blue City Empire Sports asks, do you guys think the NFL will ban all bet sports?
No,
Uh,
Yeah.
no, I
I
don't.
yeah, I don't
They
I,
Here's
I
just
don't think
went.
so.
They're making tons of money off that right now. They just made it legal for a reason.
here's something that y'all might find ironic. So players can't bet on their teams, right? They can't bet. But politicians can bet on the stock market while they're in office, insider trading and everything. So how is that
Oh
fair?
yeah,
And then this guy who only spent, but I kind of understand the reason why that they did that because it was kind of stupid for you to do because you created a FanDuel account under your name and you placed a total of $1,500 in bets on your team
And you lost 10 million.
and you just lost $11 million. I mean, come on now. It just the money doesn't equate.
The
Something should have
joke writes itself.
exactly. It's like, what were you thinking? Okay, shoot, I wish I had Big Pat's history. Like, what in the hell? What were you doing?
well,
I
congressmen
gotta get
make the
that.
laws. You know that, right? I mean, the congressmen pass the laws. I mean, they're going to get whatever they want. There's a little bit of a
Yeah,
difference.
true, but it's like the same situation. Is like, okay, you handed him down. You handed down a 1 year suspension. Okay, is this going to be the template for what's going to happen? From this point on. because at some point, you know that these guys are betting. You know that they are. They're just not getting caught. He's not Calvin Ridley. Yeah, but he was probably the only guy that got caught. But you know other players are doing this. So at some point, are you going to allow it? Are you just going to completely ban it? Who knows? But I don't think the NFL is going to ban all bets. All sports betting. There's just too much money in it.
Look at your refs,
Yeah,
because they're the ones that
I
need to
don't
be
see it.
investigated. They're
I
awful.
agree with you there, man. I agree with you 100% there, GOS. I don't think that they are going to ban it at all. Again, they're making good money off this, and so are the owners. So I don't see them getting away with it. As a whole, I think there'll be
You
a
know that's
little
how
bit more
Mara bought the
scrutiny.
team, right? His squad.
Yeah, ain't
Yeah,
that
he's a
crazy?
friggin' bookie. He was a
Yeah,
bookie.
that's crazy. And when you really think about it, I mean, you can make an argument that the NFL with how they discipline certain things compared to how they're disciplining Calvin Ridley, is completely different. Where Calvin's getting a whole year. Other players that have done a lot worse have gotten 2 games, or maybe half a season, whichever. To each its own. But I understand that that is a very real thing that's happening.
Can I say
At
something,
the
his
same
squad?
time, yeah,
There is a reason why even when gambling was illegal, there was an injury report and all that stuff. It was so gamblers could get proper spreads. The NFL is in bed with gambling since its beginning.
yeah,
Their
Calvin
founders
isn't the
are all
only player
bookies.
that's doing this either. He's just the only one that's been caught right now at the moment. But I'm pretty sure that there's other players, and I wouldn't even be surprised if there's certain coaches and owners that are involved in betting as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know
Right?
that's
He's
gotta be.
just he's just the one that got caught,
Yep. And they're gonna make an example out of him.
and you put your name on it. Like, do you not like?
Exactly.
They're working with the league. You don't think that the owners or the people that are looking at the new accounts that are being placed for these bets, and they're saying, "Huh, Calvin Ridley? No, this isn't the Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons, is it? Do do do. Oh, they're looking. Oh, it's Calvin Ridley. Like, they're gonna report that. Like, are you serious? Like, it's
Why
just
Especially
was there
it
injury
was
reports
fun.
though? Think about that. When gambling was illegal, why was there injury reports and there was strict rules on it?
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I
It
think
don't
that's
add
very
up to
true.
me. It don't add up to me. I mean, I can only way I can go is that was so people that were setting the price in gambling and the bookies had a proper feeling of the game to put the proper bets on it.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's just what it is. I think that another team will be interested in him when he gets reinstated, if he gets reinstated. Let me say, within the next year. But at the same time, man, I mean, they're gonna make an example of him, and especially if what's his name, Stephen Ross, the Miami owner, if what Flores said was true about him, I mean, what's the punishment going to be for that? I think the NFL will make an example of him as well if that's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So, I mean, in a sense, I'm glad that they're showing that they're not going to tolerate this, but at the same time, a little hypocritical. But let me get your guys' thoughts on the next topic, man. I mean, I know that the combine had just ended. There were some standouts at the combine. There was some players that GOS. You're always providing whether it's draft content or players that we should look at in free agency for the Giants. Are there some players that you think that we should look at potentially if we're the New York Giants in this draft that the people should know about?
Trayvon Walker really blew up in the combine. I had a sneaky
He's
little feeling. I had a video on him, and I had a sneaky little feeling that he was just going to explode on the combine. He's somebody who could
he's
have really jumped
skyrocketing
up.
people's draft,
Yeah,
people's boards right now. He's skyrocketing.
Yeah, some
Chris
people got him.
Olave had a huge combine. I knew he was going to, but I didn't think he was going to run like a 4.24, whatever he ran. The combine's so hit or miss because I mean, you look at it historically through players like Jerry Rice. I mean, first of all, this as if you play football, you know that there's a difference between track and football players. Some people just move better for whatever reason when they're in their, when they got all their pads on and all that. They just built differently. So it's just, and these guys are trained to run these. They are months and months grinding to get perfect timing, perfect release, to test well at these things. Certain things may hold a little bit more weight. Say if you're an offensive line, like a 3 cone or a 20-yard split, that might be something a little bit better to give you a hint. But I really think the combine as a whole is way overblown. But it can be good for end of the round people to make you go, whoa, well, we didn't watch him much. Now let's go put the tape back in and focus in on him. So it can bring later round guys down into where they should properly go, because there is so many players that you can't consistently get through them all. I don't care how big your scouting department is. But another guy, Troy Anderson, from Montana State, he just
Mhm.
blew up. He was a guy who's played quarterback, running back. He switched to middle linebacker. He's not a really great instinctual player, but he's another guy right now that blew up the combine. Has a lot of work to do, but boy, he's something that you could look at the grab in the third and just a project that could be amazing in a couple of years. So yeah, there is some people out there.
I
like
like the
that. I
Trayvon
like
Walker
that.
thing. I like it. I didn't really catch a whole lot of it. I did kind of see the at least the beginnings of when the quarterbacks were doing their 40s. But Trayvon Walker, yeah, that's a name that I've been seeing jumping up, literally on boards. One, I think it was one mock or someone was saying that they got him have him even higher than uh Kayvon Thibodeau, which I'm
Sheesh.
trying
I
to
saw that.
understand. It's like,
I saw a
wait a
mock
minute.
draft where he was higher.
Yeah, I mean, they even have. I think it's Daniel Jeremiah or one of those mock draft guys has
That's somebody
him being
overthinking
taken
it.
by us. Yeah, they have him taking us at 5 or 7. Trayvon Walker. I'm like, what has this kid done?
I'd like him to bulk up and go to a 3-tech, play like a Leonard Williams type role. Now, I'm probably in the minority on this, but I think his length and power on the inside, his power is good enough to play on the inside. His length is perfect. He's gonna develop into a really good run defender. I like him to kick inside, throw on like 15, 20 pounds, and I think he could be like an elite 3-tech inside defender. But I could also see people maybe wanting him to slim down and send him off the edge. I just don't. I like his burst, his initial burst, but you don't see him carry through like some of them guys like Karlaftis. When it hit contact, you don't see the speed and power carry through quite like them other people like Kayvon and them Karlaftis. So I like to see him kick inside. That's just me, but there's probably not many people with me there.
Well, that's the thing because you're going to have to figure out where you're going to play this guy because he can't play that 3 technique. He can't come off the edge. Whether you want him to bulk up to play that 3 technique or not, it all depends on what team sees him and sees
Right.
what fit he is for their defense. But he
Almost like a
can't play.
Russo
He can't play it.
from last year.
Yeah,
Remember him? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And he's doing solid over there for Buffalo.
Yes, he is.
He's Walker's a better athlete, but yeah, I do think there's some similarities there with their build, their length, their power wise. It should be interesting, whatever happens with him. I could see him going either way. Or maybe a team just wants to grab him and use him in every which direction. Just use him as a weapon, kind of like a Justin Tuck. Maybe if you're in a 4-3, you can line him up out inside and outside, depending on down and distance and all that. Interesting, though.
Yep.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there was some players that, for me, I really liked what I saw. One of them was David Ajabo. I actually liked what I saw with Karlaftis as well. Now, I also liked Pierre Strong from South Dakota. Um, that would be a player I hope that the Giants could select, if not, Hassan Haskins. But no, I definitely agree with you, man. There's going to be some players that I hope fall to us. I know that a lot of people are thinking that Kayvon falls. I have a feeling that he will fall, and I hope it's to 5, man. I really want
Travis
Kayvon in
Jones
the
too,
Giants
hit
in the
squad.
Giants
Travis
uniform.
Jones, defensive tackle from UConn, he blew it up, man.
Yeah,
He is an impressive athlete, man.
yeah, and that big boy from Georgia, what is it, Jordan Davis?
Yeah.
Man, I mean, he ran so fast. I mean, I feel like if I were to get hit, like if I was standing still and his ass ran towards me, man, I mean, he's killing me. I'm just saying, man. Blue City Empire Sports says, "Don't get me started on the referees. They need to be investigated." Yeah, they definitely do, man. They definitely do. I think that a lot of these refs be costing the game sometimes, man. It's really bad, especially if you're a Saints fan. You gotta be hating referees.
Well, the NFL don't want blowouts, so I think they make calls and let calls go to keep games closer longer. That's my whole thing. I don't think they're actually blowing games. Well, obviously they blow games with bad calls. I'm not sure if it's purposely, but I do
Yeah,
think there is a little bit of keeping games closer because when blowout games, you even see channels like Fox, they'll yank a game if it's too out of control. They'll pull it right
that's
off
very true.
TV.
That's very true.
So because the ratings just go right down the shitter. It's 30-0, halftime. So I think
Yeah,
there is
no,
a little bit of that.
Well,
I agree with you there, man. For real.
well, here's something that you should find interesting. All three of those, what was it? Because I didn't even realize he was listed as a defensive lineman. I thought he was an edge rusher. But Jordan Davis, Trayvon Walker, and Devontae Wyatt, 1, 2, and 3 as far as defensive tackles in this draft. Literally. 16, 18. Literally, I have them ranked 16, 18, and 30. Georgia. All those three
Yeah,
Georgia guys.
it's crazy, man. Yep.
They're all
I
really
mean,
good.
they
Yep.
are, and I hope that we can at least get an edge rusher, and at least one offensive lineman, in the first round.
Me too.
You know, I know that some people are feeling that we don't have to get an offensive lineman in the first round. Technically, we don't, but I personally would just like to at least get one piece, preferably. If you're not going to get Iquanu or Neal, whether that's Cross, um, I mean, or even Linderbaum, just get a piece on your offensive line that you can build around and maybe even try to address it in the second round if you can as well.
I want to tackle in one of the first two picks. I want to tackle. I just think it would be so horrible to come out of the first without a tackle. Man, if they're all, if I mean, if Cross is gone, Guanu and Neal are gone by 5, then obviously you might want to start looking in a different direction. But
Yeah,
Well,
definitely, definitely.
yeah, but I don't see, maybe Aquanu, maybe Neal, but
What's up, Jaden?
Cross would be there, at least 5 or 7. Because depending on what Carolina does, I think they're picking at 6, which more than likely they could be going after a quarterback if they don't get
I think they're
anybody in
taking a
free agency.
tackle. I think they're going to take a tackle. They're the worst offensive line in football, other than the Giants. They need
Well, so
tackles
you
even worse
think,
than us because we at least have Andrew Thomas.
well, do you think that they're going to run him back with was it Darnold there? Because I mean, we seen what Darnold can do, and unless they pick up a free agent quarterback, they might be in the market for one because
I heard
they
they
don't
like
look like those
Mariota.
holes.
That's what I heard. That's a good spot for
I could
Mariota, but
definitely
I don't.
see
We'll
that.
see.
I could see that.
Well, I can agree. Oh,
I
if
think
that's
they
the
like
case,
that backup too. They got there,
I mean, if you talking about PJ Walker?
PJ Walker. Yeah, I think I heard they like him too.
I mean, shoot, he did a lot better than Darnold did, but he came from the XFL, so you know he was
That
showing his
offensive
stuff.
line
He
was
did
so
pretty good.
bad, though. Rodney,
Yeah, it
that
was
offensive line was so bad. No
atrocious,
quarterback had a chance.
atrocious.
So
They
that's
That's
were right in
why
the
I
same
mean
boat as us.
I've heard rumors that they may even look to take offensive line in the first round,
That
and I
they
wouldn't
should
be
take a
shocked about
tackle if
that.
it's there.
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely. I mean, the offensive line was atrocious. I mean, we saw it when we played them. I mean, the offensive line looked worse than ours.
well,
Yeah,
yeah, I agree. But hey, highlight Jeffy's uh, comment at 6:16. He says, "If Bradbury is traded, I think Sauce Gardner is going to be high on the Giants board." This is another scenario where the Giants is concerned because okay, you saw that we just picked up an offensive lineman. I guess he got released as the OL, getting the offensive line in order. What I see is that if they're going to prioritize defense over offense, it's all going to depend on what happens in free agency. And Jeff, you're right. If they trade Bradbury, they're going to want to go after one of these top cornerbacks. And basically, I've seen Sauce Gardner. What I think he's 6'1". No, either 6'1", 6'2", or 6'3", 200 pounds. The guy he's got length and he's very rangy. I could see them picking him maybe at number 7 if they don't go offensive lineman at number 5. Maybe they go another defense. I don't really know. Maybe an edge if Kayvon Thibodeau drops, but I can see if they don't have any of those tackles there to where Kwanu's gone and Neal is gone, and they don't want to pull the trigger on getting crossed that early, they might go defense the first 2 picks.
I could
I wouldn't be
definitely
surprised if the
see it.
Jets grab Gardner either.
I wouldn't be shocked with that either. I had them taking Kyle Hamilton, but I
Hamilton
wouldn't be
kind of
shocked.
pooped out this combine, so yeah,
Yeah,
this question is starting to circle around him.
and you know what? I'm gonna just put this out there. When I look at Derek Stingley, I kind of look at it with the Marshawn Lattimore situation, where both came off injuries, but they were even prior to their injuries. They were a hell of a player, and I mean, you look at how Marshawn's career's been in the NFL so far. I mean, I think that Stingley's going to be one of those players that may drop, in the first round. Not far, but whatever team is going to get a player like Derek Stingley, man, I'm telling you, that kid is going to ball out.
If
I,
he
I mean,
stays
I
healthy, he's the
if he
best
stays
corner in this
healthy,
draft,
and
easily.
that's the thing. If he stays healthy, but that kid was a beast, man. He still is a beast, obviously, but he was a beast over at LSU. I mean, there's been clips of him locking down Jamar Chase, who, let's be real, man. I mean, that kid had a hell of a year last year for the Bengals, and I think that he's, if not the sole reason, a huge reason as to why they went to the Super Bowl, man.
Well, they
But it's
got
just all the
Gardner.
injuries with him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they got Gardner actually rated higher than Stingley. So, that's going to be a big concern as far as where Stingley goes.
absolutely.
That injury, you know, scenario is going to really play as far as who's going to take him. And again, based off of, what Ahmad Garner did in the combine, I don't think he ran a 40. I'm not 100% sure, but they got him rated higher than Stingley, so he could be off the board pretty quick. But I think the Jets are going to go defense.
I think so
They,
too.
they may not be 100% sold on Becton, but if they can get that kid to where he, loses some weight and actually gets his head right and gets focused on playing football, they got to do something about their defense. They have to do something about the defense, and honestly, I think they're probably going to go with Hamilton.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean,
Stingley
that's
actually
what I'm
ran
thinking.
Stingley ran a 4.2 flat 40 his freshman year at LSU, and coming out of high school, he was jumping 40-inch vertical. I like Gardner, but he is not the athlete like the pure makeup speed that Stingley has. I view Stingley more, Gardner more like a Richard Sherman. If you can put him down, press him on the line, you can. I think he's more of a better zone corner. If you can use him in like a cover 3 or something, or a Tampa 2, I think that would be great. He could be a lockdown, something like that. But Stingley, I mean, if you want to go for the high end literally shut down island corner, that's your guy. People are low on him because not only the injuries, they put him in the slot, and he really struggled there. He is a pure outside corner, so you can get a number one corner at him, but he cannot follow number one wide receivers in a slot. He just does. That's just not his style. So I really think that's why he's being marked down. A team would be very dumb to like say, "Oh, we're not going to take him in the top 10." Like put some kind of restriction on him like that. But I do
So you
understand
talking
it.
about
Like
Stingley?
we had the same thoughts with Caleb Farley last year. Great
Yeah.
athlete, all this could be this and that, and then with the injury concerns, and then he gets hurt his first year. So I understand it, but I honestly am not. I wouldn't be scared to draft that kid if I need a corner, and I'm sitting down towards 10th pick.
Yeah, I
I'd
hear what
grab
you're
him.
saying. No, I hear what you're saying 100%. And, I thought that this was pretty interesting here. Jeff says, watch the New York Jets and the Houston Texans. They could go O line or go defense. I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, if the Texans believe that Davis Mills is their guy, even if it's for 1 year. If I'm the Texans, I'm looking to improve that offensive line. I know they need defense, but I think that this, is a pretty deep edge class. I mean, they could get a player like Thibodeau if he's there. But I could see them taking offensive linemen. Now the Jets, I wouldn't be shocked if they were to take a player like Kyle Hamilton. I wouldn't be shocked if they went and took an offensive lineman. If Akeem Aquanu falls to 4, I wouldn't be shocked if they took him. I mean, because I
What are you
think
doing with
that
Becton at hit squad? Because they're saying they're going to move Becton to right tackle, right? I mean, are you going to start Iquanu at guard then?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't even know if Becton makes it to the starting season. Excuse me, to the start of the season. I
He's
wouldn't be
being
shocked
slept
if
on
they
by
traded
people.
him.
He's
I
being
know.
slept on.
I don't honestly. I don't think he's as bad as people make it out to be. But I could see him getting traded for a mid-round pick. I could see him getting. Hopefully, it doesn't happen, but I could see him getting cut as
I
well.
give him a second right now. I give the 36th pick right now to the Jets to bring Becton
It wouldn't be the first time we did business with them either.
in.
I'm just saying.
People forget
But
how
I
dominant
wouldn't
he
be
was his
shocked.
rookie year. I get the injury concern, but when he's right, he's right.
Yeah, no, and I agree with you, and I think that the size that he has, I mean, I get that a lot of people, they talk about his weight and that he can't control his weight. I get that 100%, but I still think that he's a talented player. But I wouldn't be shocked, because Rob Sala has came out and said, to the press we're going to make sure that we can protect Zach Wilson and that no position is guaranteed. And if you selected Mekhi Becton in the first round, I mean, for me, I don't know. That kind of looks bad if I'm Mekhi Becton. So is my job not guaranteed? You selected me in the first round pretty recently. So I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they took a player like Aquanu, or if, let's just say hypothetically, if Jacksonville were to take Aiden Hutchinson, because they did franchise tag Cam Robinson. I highlighted this a little bit ago, but they are rumored to go after Teron Armstead, excuse me. So if they were to select Aiden Hutchinson, I mean, would they select a player like Evan Neal? I
That's a
mean,
lot of money. Armstead's
it
going to
is.
pull in like 20 million. That's a lot of money when
It's a
you would just
lot of
grab
money,
Neil.
but they got cap though. That's the thing. They got cap space.
Man,
I mean, I would love to be in that position, to be honest with you. But I mean, if they do get Teron Onstead, or even honestly, even if they didn't, I'm not too sure if they take offensive tackle at this point. Um, I could see them taking Hutchinson, where but prior to the franchise tagging of Cam Robinson, they were being rumored to take Evan Neal with that first pick. So, I mean, for me, I personally love it because I want to keep Aquanu. If we can get him, I think that would be amazing. That would be incredible if we could get Akeem Aquanu.
he's a great
But
player, but I think year one he's going to have struggles if you throw him over to tackle. I can already hear it. The Andrew Thomas narrative is going to start all over again when Akeem
yep,
Aquanu in here because he's gonna
I wouldn't be
he
shocked.
overset. He doesn't. He has problems in his pass pro. He's like a year two starter at tackle. So obviously in the run game he's going to hurt people. He's going to cripple people. But I guarantee you, I know the way New York fans are in the media. They're going to kill that guy right off rip. So
Now, if you're the Giants and you trade back, I mean, would you be upset with taking a player like Charles Cross? Because I
no,
personally wouldn't.
well he's
No,
got a lot. Listen, he's got a lot to work on, and I get a lot of people right now are saying Cross is better than all the Neil and all this other stuff. Listen, he comes from a very collegey offense. He's got a lot to work on. You got to hope that he can build up weight. His frame seems decent enough. He's just a very athletic guy. He's got all fundamental stuff to work on. A lot like Andrew Thomas. I mean, he doesn't have the length like Thomas, but he's got the pure athleticism. I do worry a little bit about him, a little bit. Now, I'd take the chance on him, but you got to remember, just a couple of years ago, Andre Dillard come at the same school, very same similar kind of profile. And I do think Cross has got a little bit more nastiness to him, maybe a little bit more power, a little bit more athleticism. But that Andre Dillard ghost is still lingering there with me a little bit to
Yeah,
make me question him. And there is a big transition. Like Neil has maybe some worse tape pass protecting, but he's running an NFL offense. That's going to translate a lot quicker. He can start working on more things. It's a blank sheet with Charles Cross. He ran a lot of jump sets, 45 sets. We don't even know what he's going to look like consistently running vertical sets in his protection. And all
well,
them little tiny things are going to come back to it's not going to be an instant thing, I don't think. So these guys all need time. It's very hit or miss. I mean, flip a coin. That's really what it is. Flip a coin. I hate
well,
to
here's
say
a
it, but
question. Here's a question I got for both of you guys. Would you consider Cross the best pure pass protector in the draft, as far as the top 3 to 5? Because a
right
lot of mocks
now,
have him. A lot of mocks have him as the number one pass protecting tackle in the draft,
right
and that's
now, because of his
above Evan Neal.
athleticism. But there are some things that Neil have where I say the long game has a much higher ceiling for Neil. There is just some things that Cross is never going to have. He's never going to have the length. He's never going to have the power. He's never going to have the anchor that somebody like Neil does. So in the long game, in the long run, I think Neil is the better pass protector option. Right now, though, the athleticism that Cross has kind of makes up for some of the deficiencies where the other guys have in certain departments. Maybe he's better year one, but year two, three, I start to probably lean towards the other guys. That's my
yeah,
feeling.
I agree with you there, GOS. I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how this draft plays out. And I mean, one of these players are going to fall, whether that's on the offensive side of the ball or whether that's on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, for me personally, if Aquanu falls, I'm jumping up and down. If Thibodeau falls, I'm running to my screen. So For me, I think that right now at 5, you're in a perfect position. You're also in a perfect position to trade back if the team would want to trade up. But I just, at this point, I don't really see that happening unless you're a team like Seattle. But do you really think that a quarterback that you're looking for isn't going to be there where you're at 9? So I don't know.
And
He's in
Personally,
Mark,
that.
Mark the Blue Giant wants to know what you think about Jabo. Did we talk about that yet?
yeah, we briefly touched on it, but actually, let's talk about it a little bit. I mean, would y'all be upset if we selected Ojabo at 7, or if we traded back, let's say to 12 or maybe even 9? Would you be upset with the Giants taking him instead of a Jermaine Johnson or a Tavon Walker?
I think it's
Oh,
a Charles Cross thing. Like Jermaine Johnson may be better right now, but it's the same conversation we kind of just had with Charles Cross and Evan Neal and all them guys. Gano. Right now, year one, Jermaine Johnson might be the better, might give you better production on the field. But Ojabo, I always call him Ojabo. I don't know why. Like I think it's because of the hut or whatever, Star Wars there.
Yeah, I was about to
But no,
say
I think
Ojabo
in
the
the
Hutt.
in the long run, I think Ojabo, there you go, I got it, is the better prospect for in the years because he just needs time. He just needs a concrete role, get him in, give him, and obviously he has all the measurables, the athleticism is through the roof. And believe it or not, he didn't play much, but I actually saw some instinctual moments that I was very impressed with for how little football he played. And also, he has really looked at Aiden Hutchinson. He seems like a guy that's going to take good to coach, and he really, from all reports, kind of sucked up to Aiden Hutchinson and said, "Hey, this guy's going to be a top 5 pick. I'm going to study him. I'm going to pick his brain on everything." So he seems like a naturally curious guy, a guy that wants to get better. So I have Ojaba as my number 3 edge rusher in this class. Ceiling wise, I think it's Kayvon Thibodeau and David Ojabo. I think he's even got a higher ceiling than Hutchinson. That's just my opinion. I mean, obviously, I take Hutchinson first if you're in that spot, but yeah, he's a great prospect. At 7, it might be a little bit of a reach. But who cares? I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
drafting somebody like OC Umenyiora. Yeah, you got to sit and wait a year, but oh my God, what he could turn into. I mean, obviously, a much better prospect than Umenyiora, but just the point stands.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I think Ojabo, he's a player that a lot of people are sleeping on. I've seen mocks where he goes to Philly, and I think that if Philly were to get him, I mean, they're getting a hell of a player. Um, I think that he's the 4th best in my opinion. I mean, I like Karlaftis a lot. Um, but for me, man, I would not be upset at all. At 7, um, I would prefer it more if we traded back and selected him, but I'm not gonna throw a fit if we selected Ojabo at 7. You're getting a stud of a
Someone's going to
player.
take him early, don't you think? Somebody's
Yeah,
going to take him earlier than you'd like. It's just the way these drafts
I
work.
could see it. No, I could
Yeah.
absolutely see it. I mean, he's a beast of a player. I mean, and I know that some people say, he only had that production because he had Hutchinson on the other side of him. But I thought that Ojabo really held his own. I think that he's a player that has a pretty high ceiling. Honestly, man, I think that he would do wonders. In Wink's defense, or even over there in Baltimore, I think that he would do wonders. But for me, man, again, I don't know about at 7, but again, I wouldn't be upset if we selected him.
It's so
I
hard
gotta go.
walking the fine line of projection to what they are now. It's such a hard line to to deal with that if you're a GM. It's almost impossible. Again, it's like a coin flip. Just flip a coin. It's
Yeah,
it's what it all
I
comes down to.
I
Hey,
agree.
real
I
quick.
agree.
Joel wants to know if you're gonna drop the link.
Yes, we're going to talk about one more topic real quick, and then yes, I am going to drop the link to you guys. I just want to get your guys' thoughts quickly on one of our signings that we had. Actually, if not, I think it's what our second signing or our third signing under the Joe Shane era. We got offensive tackle Mike Gano. It's a 1-year deal. He was released by the Falcons in January. He did miss the 2021 season due to injury, but he is healthy now, and I want to get you guys' thoughts on him. I mean, do you think that he brings an upside to this offensive line? I kind of see him as just a depth piece. I'm still looking to looking free agency for some offensive linemen and in the draft. But what are you guys' thoughts on the guy?
Go ahead, buddy.
Um, for me, now I did see a little bit of I didn't know, never heard of the guy until today, and I did look at a little bit of tape, not too much when he played against Joey Bosa, and the kid's got some talent. Okay, I got to say that he's got some talent. issue that I see is that he's got to work on his feet. You know what I mean? Because he gets a little bit of he his footwork needs to be worked on, and he punches early and gets out of leverage to where if you got a really good edge rusher, and I'm not sure exactly whether or not Joey Bosa really made a significant impact in that game. If you got a really good rusher that can bend that edge and the he can get around that he can get around them, it's going to be a problem. Now, do I think that he is better than Solder? Yes, Taj, he is better than Solder. Anybody right now is
It's
better than
better
Solder.
than Soldier.
Okay,
Facts.
but again, it all depends on how he's gonna. He's coming off. I think it was a shoulder injury is what he was coming off of. But I'm very happy that Joe Shane, they're sticking to the guns of what they said as far as fixing this offensive line. They're not making big splash free agent signings either. This is a 1 year deal. Who knows how much it may be? Maybe it's $1 million or $2 million. Who knows? But I like what they're doing. They're going out. They're fighting talent. And if it works out to where this kid, maybe he's death at this point right now, maybe he's a starter. Who knows? But I like what they did. I extremely like that signing.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. For me, again, I'm seeing this more as a depth piece. He is an upgrade in my opinion over Nate Solder. That's not really saying much. I think we could have came off the couch, pause, and did a better job.
You're
I,
absolutely right, man.
I had to throw that in there, but I think that we could have done a lot better than what Nate Solder was doing, man. Matt Parrott, I mean, is he on this roster going into this season? I'm not entirely sure. Could this be a player that maybe takes his spot, maybe beats him out? I could definitely see it, but I'm not expecting this guy to come in and start, and make a big difference for us, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we don't even know what offense we're running right now. We don't
Yeah,
even know what the scheme's
exactly,
going to be.
exactly.
I didn't look at it. I've been scouting a lot with the combine, all that. I haven't really looked at them, but it's kind of just way too many questions to get any kind of answers with him. I mean, these kind of little moves like this, he might not even make it out of camp. So, or,
Yeah, I'm there with you. I
Yeah.
agree with you 100%, GOS. But
yeah.
guys, we are gonna open up the lines. We actually got my good man Joel right here. What is
Oh,
going on, buddy? How are you, my friend?
What's up, Joe? Man,
gentlemen, man, I hope everybody's having a happy hump day.
A very good hump day.
Beautiful. All right. Mine's not doing too bad. I'm not going to lie here, though. Come home, gave the wife a bath, washed her back. I sat here, had a little party favor, and I fell asleep on you guys. I do want to apologize on that one.
You're good,
Um,
brother. No problem.
I'm waiting
I,
for Joe to
I
start
know
singing.
how it is.
oh,
I'm
no,
waiting
I can't sing. Oh, everyone says they lose subscribers when I sing.
Subscribe to my man, Classified Joel, man. I'm gonna drop his link in the
Oh,
description as
thank
well in
you.
the chat, man. Go
You're
subscribe
singing the
to
wrong
him, man.
songs, obviously, Joel.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, apparently, I do rap, I do classic, I do, rock and roll. Ain't nothing working. 70s, 80s.
God, you just gotta
Oh,
find what the people like, you know?
I'm
Even the people
trying,
that were
man.
alive back then were too high to remember any of that shit.
Yeah, man, I've even sang Disco Duck a couple of times. Ain't nobody knows what that song is.
I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna keep it
Yeah,
100 with you.
exactly.
That's way before my time,
It
Joe.
was that Rick
But
Dees. He was a DJ out of Chicago. He came out with a song called Disco Duck.
hey, I like it. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, what is your thoughts, man? I mean, we talked about Russell Wilson earlier, what that could mean for the Giants.
Wow.
We spoke about Carson Wentz coming back to the NFC East. We spoke about Mike Gano, offensive tackle we signed today. I mean, what are your thoughts, man, just overall with the news going on around in the NFL today?
I I want to know because we've had this Russell Wilson discussion as Giants fans, and ain't nobody brought it up yet. Remember when everybody wanted Wilson here to the Giants and they were saying what it would take, trades, picks,
Oh yeah.
what
Yep.
how many people I undervaluated what Russell Wilson would bring. And I was sitting there screaming at least three firsts. I did not know it would be 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a fifth, and 3 quality players. Giants fans that wanted Russell Wilson here, would you be willing to give all that up?
Nope.
Nope.
Hell no.
No
That's-
offensive line. It'd be the same situation in Seattle.
It would, my guys, and he's not going to have any targets. Galladay and Tony, there are two best targets. Is Barkley going to be healthy? That's our biggest concern as Giants fans right now. We all want him to play 17 games, put up 1,500 yards running. We want to watch him break a touchdown run or two. But is he going to be available? It's not there. The record's not there yet. Now everyone says Daniel Jones gets hurt, so he's got a record. Is he going to be the guy for 17? So let's say you did give up Barkley and Jones and probably Tony. If you look at what Denver gave up, you'd have to give up those 3 guys to get Russell Wilson here. So now you don't even have Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, I agree.
It's absurd.
It is. Can you imagine what Deshaun Watson's price is right now?
Oh, well, hey.
Well, how much is his lawsuit?
If he gets cleared, man, and he's going to go to court Friday, they got the grand jury going. If this is all dropped and they can't press charges against him, what?
Then you got to find some. Well, Joel. 24. Then on top of that, you got to hire him a personal masseuse with happy endings to keep him content.
That's why they were saying Miami was the place to go. We all know what's good in Miami.
I'll tell you that much. That's all I'm gonna say. I'll tell you that much.
The question is, what team is going to be willing to give up? If they saw what Denver had to give up to get Russell Wilson,
right?
What are you going to give up for Deshaun Watson,
who's 10 years younger?
But you also got to take into consideration, because based off of everything that's going on with Watson now, the NFL hasn't done anything, and they can issue their own suspension at some point if they choose to, because Houston is suspending him, not the NFL.
Oh, yes.
They're going to. He's getting at least 4 games. You know that.
Right.
So
can I bring something else into this picture? What the hell do these elite quarterbacks even win? They don't even win nowadays.
Thank you.
Look when Russell Wilson won. He had the historic defense. The other time he went to the Super Bowl, he threw a stupid interception in the end zone, blew the game. Of course, the coach was the bigger dumbass of that whole situation. What's Aaron Rodgers done? The best quarterback on the planet, maybe to ever live the last decade. What the hell's he done? These elite quarterbacks don't do shit. Pure and simple. They get to the playoffs.
They're going for a lot. Oh shit! Hold on.
Yeah, you got a troll.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh,
Lou! What's going on, Lou?
How you doing, brother?
I've been saying that GOS for months now. It's like, you look at the quarterbacks that are in the Super Bowl. They're pocket passers.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
No, everyone says DJ gets hurt. Guys, Lamar Jackson missed the final 5 games, which is why the Ravens were in the playoffs.
So
everybody's hurt nowadays.
What's everybody's thoughts on this tackle we just signed?
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like it. It's
All
definitely
pro.
better than obviously Soldier, but I look at it as a depth piece.
How old is
want
he?
to get O-line. He's pretty young. I'm gonna check him out real quick.
This guy is better than
Mike Goddard
Ventura in price. This guy is definitely
25.
better.
Let me see.
He's on the cheap. Worst case scenario, he's a camp body. But we've got to get 9 offensive linemen in here. And if we could bring in guys like this and have faith in our new O-line coach, maybe he could break something out of these guys with a shell. I was talking to Big Pat earlier about this. Look, if our O-line coach what if he could do something with Pert and Lemieux? What if it was the coaching staff here and all the confusion and the chaos in the locker room, which is why Pert struggled, which is why because Pat brought up the point. Look at our 4 Super Bowl runs, man. What first-round picks did we have on the offensive line?
Exactly.
How many years did they play together? That's the thing.
That's another point. Yeah.
Yeah.
We never had first-round picks on our offensive lines.
Nope.
I mean, anything right now to whatever decisions they make, and I said this earlier, if they can get good quality, offensive linemen as far as free agency is concerned, but get them on the cheap like they've done just now with this guy, a 1-year deal. Who knows? Maybe it's $1 million, maybe $2 million. But
I don't even think it's $1 million.
It's a
Probably
1-year
minimum.
deal. What's his name? Anderson? Something Anderson.
no, it's Matt Gano or Matt
Gano,
Yeah,
Gano.
it's
Yeah.
Matt Gano. Yes.
Yeah,
from the
Is
Gano.
it
Falcons.
1.075 is the minimum right now? It's probably what he
Something
got.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if that's what they're paying him, can you imagine if they got 2 or 3 more
Yeah, that's what
based off
yes.
of that? I
Yep.
mean,
Well, we
right
got
then
the
and
one
there-
coming back from last year. What was his name?
Yeah,
He played a little
Uh,
bit when everybody got hurt.
What is his name? Oh,
Lemieux?
Don't say Nick Gates.
No.
No.
It was a tackle who came in when Parrott went down.
Lemieux.
He's coming
Oh,
back again.
Cunningham?
I saw him.
Cunningham.
Yeah, Cunningham. Yeah, I heard he's
Cunningham.
coming back
Yeah.
too to compete. Yeah, Cunningham. That was him. But Joel, you made a
I mean,
great
don't-
point about the coaches. They've had 4 coaches. When you think about it, they've had 4 offensive line coaches in the last 2 years. Look at
Yes.
the first year. They went through Colombo. Then you could pretty much say Joe Judge was their coach for a little while. Then that D. Gigolomo friggin' asshole. And then
Right.
last year, whoever the hell we had. They've really had 4 offense. I mean, it's a mess. It's a mess. How can we
It's a
say
roller
any of these
coaster.
guys are bad or awful or anything? They're as much mark as anybody else or anything else on this damn team.
Yeah.
We give Pert and Sakura and Price all shit, but you know what? Billy Sakura was a damn good fill-in player when he was with the Ravens. When they needed him off the bench, he was damn good.
It's going to be.
He's
very
playing out of
interesting to see
position
what
too.
happens.
He really should have been at center.
Yeah,
He's not
He's
strong
a
enough to be a
star?
guard. He's a pure center.
center.
Yeah,
right.
Sakura.
Now
And
with
Price was damn good down the stretch. The last 8 games, he was the 12th rated center in the league. He played really good. He had a lot of shit going on in his life too. Brand new playbook, brand new offense, a lot of stuff going on in his
But do
personal
you
life.
think they bring
He
him
did
back?
pretty good down the stretch.
Look, man,
They should.
we gave him a hard time, called him Pancake Waffle House and everything. But like I said, talking with Pat earlier about how bad everything was on this damn team, and then we started talking about the coaching staffs at different positions. Because I was happy with Sakura coming. I was happy with Price. I really was. I thought that was good
Yeah.
depth. But they got thrown into the fire too early because Gates got hurt.
Yep.
Thomas got hurt. Solder just, God, so much of it was on Solder and Hernandez.
Now, I did look into this. Matt Gano, he does bring some versatility. He did play 232 snaps at right tackle for Atlanta in 2020, but he's also played time at left guard and at right guard. So you're getting a young player. He is 25, and a player that's versatile. So how are they going to use him?
I think guard.
I mean, I could see guard. I mean, he doesn't necessarily look entirely big, but for a 1-year deal, I can't complain.
Well, if you could play tackle, you could play guard. I mean, the tackle position is just for the more athletic big guys, the bigger, longer, athletic big guys. You can always
Right.
kick them in the guard. I don't know why some people say, "Oh, he's no good at guard." Bullshit.
Yeah, if you
Anybody
can
who's good at
dodge a
tackle
wrench,
is
you
going to
can
be
dodge
way
a
better
ball.
at guard.
Eric Flowers, for
right.
example.
That's
Eric
right.
Flowers, guys. He's a great guard.
I like your dodgeball reference, Lou.
Justin Pugh was damn good inside,
Yep.
but he had back issues, so they let him go. I wasn't upset at that one.
No,
Richburg was a maniac. He tried to kill people with his helmet on the field. I couldn't wait for him to be gone.
Right?
He's a loose cannon.
We've drafted very poorly at the offensive line. Not to say that we haven't tried to fix the O-line. We've just picking shitty picks every time.
Is it
Yep.
shitty picks, Lou, though, or is it the coaching?
it could be both.
That's yeah.
It could really be both. The
I don't
players
give a
aren't
fuck
too
what
good.
the cause of it is. I need it to
I
stop.
fixed. I do too. I agree 100%, my guy.
It just needs stability. That's
Right.
it. Just needs stability and
That's why I
time.
highlighted
And
this right here.
you don't get afforded time in New York. This is the problem we're going to keep running into until one of these teams start to win.
Yep.
You got a point there.
I mean, these people got to be patient too, man. I mean, and that's what I worry about because you are going to have so many fans that are impatient with what this team is going to have to do. And the shit that we're going to have
your
to
Twitter.
do. That's
Delete
That's
your
what I'm
Twitter.
saying,
Works for
man.
me.
Well, I just hopped in to support. I just got home. I got to wash my ass and make something
No
for little
problem,
man to
dude.
eat.
Pause.
Well, I
Pause.
mean, listen, Do you prefer I don't? I got to
Invest in
pay.
a loofah.
No,
Hey,
that's
listen, all right. This isn't a scratch and sniff screen, okay? I ain't got to worry about that.
Right. Well, I'm
you
just saying
nasty
I
as
got to
hell,
get off
boy.
because I got to
Oh,
go
man.
be a father and I got to
Well, I
wash
know
my ass.
that.
So,
Well,
I
good
know
man.
that.
but
Yes.
Thanks for
I'll be
coming
live
on.
at 9:30. Hit Squad. I'll send you the link. But
Yes.
Okay,
if
cool,
I get
bet.
dinner and everything ready and you guys are still on, I'll pop up. I'll pop back on.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
That's
we're
what's
gonna
up, G
keep it
Nation,
on for
man.
like another 10 minutes or so.
Oh
So
well,
we'll
I'm
be
not gonna
straight.
get dinner
Yeah,
done
I
that damn
know. I
fast.
know
Yeah.
that, man. I know. No problem. But I'll definitely try to stop by tonight, man. No problem. Send me the
All
link.
right.
All right, there, Lou.
All right. Thanks for
Later,
stopping
boss.
by, G. But nah, look, I agree with you, man. DMAC, we do need stability. We need patience. We need a lot of things, man. I know that we haven't really drafted the best just in recent years. I know that we have that PTSD when it comes with the draft, especially when you look at corners, for an example. We can't draft a first round corner to save our ass, but you have people mocking us taking Sauce Gardner, which I wouldn't be necessarily upset with, but at this
Oh,
point, we just got to
Hit Squad,
trust
there's a
this.
misconception of how long we've been rebuilding. That's the problem right
Yeah,
now.
no, I agree with you,
good point.
100%.
Because last year was a third year of a total rebuild, and I even heard Bad Dog saying, "How many years do we have to deal with a rebuild? It's been 6 years." No, it's been 3 years. Pay attention to what the hell the team's doing. I mean, if you're going to be a
Did you really
casual fan,
call it
that's
that,
fine,
though?
but understand how many years we are in a rebuild. This is a fourth year into the last rebuild. We had a bad year where everything fell apart. We didn't get to see the results of the third year of our rebuild. Everybody got hurt. Everything went to shit. This
Well,
is a lot of people think this is an 8-9 year rebuild that's still happening. This is not. The rebuild last time failed. This is a completely new rebuild.
yes,
And
this
if
is
and if this
all
year don't
over
work
again.
out again, it's gonna get broken down into a complete fresh new rebuild. So
Oh
this is
yeah,
what it is.
absolutely. Because
I'm
they're
not
saying
ready to
that
say
it's
after
not
2 years
over.
of rebuild to say let's do it again. Let's see this out with what we have with these young guys before we start throwing them all away and replacing them.
Right.
Yeah,
'Cause we
I
do have
mean,
talent.
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You can
and I
say
don't
what
think
you
we're
want.
far off either.
You
I
can say
really
what you
don't.
want about the draft picks, but you know what, guys? The last two drafts under Judge, not too damn bad. Because everybody we're rooting for right now is somebody the Judge picked, not Shermer.
2020 was excellent. Was an
That was a
excellent draft.
solid
Yeah.
draft, man.
Yes.
That was one of the best drafts in the last 15 years. I don't care what anybody says. Even
Right.
players like Cam Brown, you don't see what they're doing, but the value he gives, especially, he's a hell of a player. He may be the
Yes.
best player on the team.
Very
He's been
true.
getting linebacker play too.
Yeah, we saw him even thrown in the fire. He went from middle linebacker to Penn State to outside linebacker. He was a big part with Carter Coughlin to winning that Seattle game, our biggest win in the last 5 years.
I
I
think he's
just,
going to be a big part in Wink Martindale's system.
I want
Maybe
to
it's
throw something
possible.
out there, and let me know what y'all think, because I'm telling you, people are going to be talking about this. This was just announced. Bills offensive guard John Feliciano announced that he has been released after 3 years with the team. Buffalo will save $3.5 million against the cap.
Saw that.
I mean, I'm telling you, man, I would not be shocked if the Giants were to select this kid up.
I don't want him.
There are so many mid-level guards in this year. We really lucked out with this free agency. If he could actually clear up money like he's saying, there are so many mid-level guards and centers
Right.
Yep.
in this year's free
Very
agency.
true.
It's absurd. We haven't had a free agency this thick with players in a long time. It's going to show you that so many teams now are doing them short 3-year contracts.
But I don't want
It's
him.
gonna get.
To explain my point real quick, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah, you're fine.
here's the thing: we got the same old line coach coming from the Bills to the Giants. We got
That's
the
what I'm
head
saying. I
coach,
could see it.
but he's not that good. He was struggling an awful lot. I mean, you look at down the stretch when the Bills lost to the Jaguars in those games right there, that old line was really struggling, and he was on the team. That's why they released him.
I know line gets overrated, Joel. You know it. If you pay attention like I do, that O line in Buffalo is just patchwork. It's
I
not
know
that
it is.
great.
I know it
Yeah.
is, but he was part of that patch that kind of
Yep.
like how we were just talking about Sakura and Price. But the thing
Yep.
is with Sakura and Price, this is a new O-line coach. This is a different blocking scheme. These guys are going to be taught inside out blocking techniques, which opens up the middle of the field. So the quarterback like Josh Allen can run for 10 yards, first down, 5 yards and
Yep.
slide. All right. So they're not going to be trying to do the same bullshit where they got the center pulling out trying to block the left tackle. You're not going to see that anymore.
Probably not.
But that guy could not do that basic system, but we don't know about Price and Sakura.
It's true. I understand.
It was just so bad. Everybody's like, just get rid of them all. That's how a lot of fans are right now. It was so ugly last year to go get them all, get them gone, get the stink out of the building.
Yep.
But somebody like Price who really came along in the second half of the season, I'm sorry, you shouldn't overlook it.
I think
be smart about this.
Keep him in for camp. Yes. I can't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be upset with it either.
I'm not going to be. Sakura and him? No, I'm not going to be.
Well, here's the question, dude. We didn't draft. He was an undrafted free agent. Do we still have him on our roster?
Hagee?
That center? Higbee.
No, I don't even think he's in the league.
Wow. I mean, I would have wanted to see what he could do at center. At least try to get the kid out. But as far as that kid, was it Feliciano? I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they see something in that kid. Maybe he can, do something. Maybe.
If you get him on a minimum, you get him on a vet minimum. I mean,
I'm not trying to pay premium for him at all.
Right.
I'm looking at them Chicago guards, Ifedi, who played tackle and guard, and James Daniels. I really want one of them too.
That would be awesome.
I really want one of them too, man. That would get yeah. If you can get at least one of them, I think you can come out feeling pretty good. Especially James Daniels. You can feel really good about the future of the O-line. You can snag your tackle one of the first 2 picks and James Daniels.
Right.
Because them guys are versatile. You can run zone with them. You can run any kind of scheme you want with them.
Yes. They are very athletic and can pull and trap. And yes.
I agree with you, man.
Next week is going to be interesting.
Man. Exactly.
Next week is going to be really interesting as far as when free agency opens up. What's going to happen, because the influx of these players coming on and seeing exactly what they're going to garner as far as the contract money wise, I mean, that's going to pretty much tell whether or not now I know Shane said he's not going to make big splash and pick up some free agency,
right?
But what if you can get one of these guys that's out there that maybe he's a little sketchy, but see if you can bring him in. If they value him as being a very good talent, at least a camp body, as you would say, Joe, or someone as a depth piece. I see a lot of things transpiring as far as when free agency opens up, because that's going to pretty much tell us what direction we're going to head in as far as the draft. That's why I'm really waiting to see what happens during free agency.
A lot of these guys are looking for 1-year deals. Like James Daniels right now, why would he do a long-term deal when he can sign up $8-9 million, $7 million contract at a 1 year and maybe play out of his mind and earn himself a massive contract? And there's a lot of players like that this year, offensive line wise. They have no reason to take long-term deals.
Right.
So we're sitting pretty for just bringing in a couple of these guys on 1-year deal, prove-it deals, and letting them rock and roll. It at least buys us a year so we can invest more in the following seasons on the offensive line. You don't got to kill it all in 1 year,
Right. And don't forget, this is a new regime, so don't get scared of what we used to do, thinking that it's going to be a repeat. It's not, because we brought in, oh my God, that big man there, Thomas's partner in Georgia,
Isaiah Wilson.
Yeah, we brought him in, trying to get him a third chance at his career and everything. So don't get gun shy from something like that either. Like I said, this is a whole new different regime, different schemes, different blocking, different attitude, different front office. I mean, I love to bring up the point. We actually saw the Giants front office in the same booth laughing, joking, smiling. We always saw Dave Gettleman somewhere in the damn stadium, and then half the scouts would be all separated in this one big ass area.
You're absolutely right, man.
Shane's bringing a culture, and that when that culture's in the front office like that, where people are happy to come to work, that just trickles right on down to the janitor.
Well, we had 2 different groups up in there. Gettleman brought in a couple of his guys, and then you got the long-term Giants guys. You got 2 different groups up in there.
Right.
So, we got to start weeding these guys out. We got his guy, Shane got his guy, Brown. And let's see maybe we see a bunch of them Philadelphia scouts coming over here next year.
Yeah,
They
Philadelphia.
they got to redo it. They got to start
I,
redoing
I
their front
agree.
office here. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%, man. But we're gonna close this out here, guys. We wrapped up episode 4. I appreciate everyone that slid through in the chat, man. It was a lot of fun today. Was able to talk with some friends. Joel, thank you so
Oh
much for
man,
stopping by.
thank you for having me on, guys.
Hey, it's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure for real. We're gonna definitely get you on the channel. Try to get more people on as well. And now free agency is gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be very interesting to see where a lot of these players go, especially players that we could pick up and release
Cuts are
on our
happening soon
roster.
too.
So
Yep.
Cuts are
yeah,
happening soon.
it's gonna be a lot of fun. And we're gonna talk about it here. We're gonna talk about it on Joel's channel. It's gonna be a lot of different places, man. But again, thank you guys so much for stopping by. Appreciate it, man. We're gonna close this out here.
Peace.